Benfica Podcast is one of the founding members of Benfica Independent. Benfica Independent is an independent platform made by fans for fans, and in it you can find opinion articles, podcasts, including ours truly, and also modalidades, if you will. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/Benfica Independent, where you can get merch, you can sign to get exclusive content, and share your Benfiquismo.
Ser benfiquista é uma crença.
É uma religião muito grande.
A adesão um culto que é liberdade, que é crer, que é mental, que é o caráter das pessoas.
Calma de quem é grande, maior que os maiores.
É uma paixão com outra explicação.
Eu não consigo explicar o que é ser do Benfica. Eu sinto o que é ser do Benfica. Mas de facto uma paixão. E as paixões são assim, vivem-se assim intensamente.
Aqui não há nenhuma razão. É paixão, paixão, paixão.
Ser Benfica. Até à morte.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Talking to the Dog Benfica podcast. My name is Alfredo Fumaças, with you as always every Tuesday night, bringing you the latest and greatest. Well, I don't know about greatest, but the latest Benfica and Benfica land. With me as always, Cristiano Oliveira. Cristiano, como é que é, amigo?
Yo, that was a good rhyme. The latest and greatest. That's fish, pa. You're getting better, Alfredo. Congratulations. What's going on, everybody?
It's only been 2 weeks.
Welcome. Only 2 weeks that you've been doing this for.
Yeah.
Bro, you sound like a pro. Nonetheless. Hola. Happy New Year. First time in 2022, right? It's 2022 that we're here live. Parlez-vous with you guys, and I couldn't be more excited.
Parlez-vous? I didn't know you spoke French.
Oui, je parle tutti. We do everything.
Mr. Worldwide here, Cristiano.
That's it. Worldwide, the greatest.
With us, as always, also, he may not know a lot of languages, but he does know ciao.
Ciao,
Dave de Oliveira. What's happening, Dave?
How's it going? Good to be back on here tonight. 2022. Are we going to see a positive or a negative Cristiano this year?
Oh, how did that finish? How did 2021 finish? Was it positive or negative? I think it was a little mix, right?
Yeah,
I think you canceled yourself out with both the positive and the negative that you brought.
So double negative equals a positive, something like that, right?
That's algebra, right?
I don't know. I stopped paying attention once x plus y equals z. That to me, the alphabet just didn't make sense, so I quit.
Anyway, here we are. Episode 431 is what we're up to. On tonight's podcast, we'll look back at the. Can we call it a rubber match against Porto? Can you use that baseball terminology to call this game a rubber match, Cristiano? Since you're the baseball expert,
Pode ser. Bro, you're the lead guy. Do you call it whatever you want to mean? They just go along with it.
I'm referencing American sports, which you're the expert on.
Let's say hello to all the Freddies. Thank you very much for joining us here in another wonderful, ecstatic year, 2022. The year where Benfica is undefeated. The year where Benfica vai dominar isto, vai jogar o quadruplo este ano. O ano passado foi o triplo. Agora é o quadruplo. So, welcome.
Vai arrasar e quem ficou arrasado fomos a gente.
Pá, vai rezar ou vai arrasar? Which one did you say?
Arrasar.
Porque rezar faz mais sentido.
Mas quem ficou arrasado foi a gente. Yeah. So, here we are. Second game against Porto, back-to-back games. And here in America, baseball, back-to-back games, we call them rubber matches. We'll also look ahead to Passos de Ferreira, which is Benfica's return to Estádio da Luz. First game of the new year at Estádio da Luz under Veríssimo against Passos de Ferreira. Let's get right into it. Porto game, matchup at the Dragão, match for the B win this time. This time around, I'll give you the lineup and then we'll get into it. Vlaco Dimos was in goal. We had the four-back setup, Gilberto, Morato, Vertonghen, and André Almeida at left back. Weigl and João Mário in the mid. Rafa and Everton on the wings. Yaremchuk with Gonçalo Ramos up front. Cristiano, anything about this lineup surprise you? Almeida at left back, maybe? Or Ramos at center forward?
I would think right from the start, I think those were the first two eye-catching. options by Verissimo. I think Andrea Almeida. I want to say eye catch, but at the same time, I don't think any of us was surprised because I think we talked about on the previous podcast regarding how Benfica would attack this game, and I actually predicted. I think I did say I said Gilberto on the right. And I think Almeida play on the left. I don't know. So that one was less surprised. I think the one I was more surprised with was Gonçalo Ramos being inserted into the starting lineup in a in a place that is tough to play in. The atmosphere is going to be tough. The pressure. All eyes are going to be on this game, and so I thought it was a little bit naive on Verissimo's part to throw the kid into the wolves just like that. But look, he's the coach now, and he knows these guys better than I do. And he opted to go with that. He didn't exactly have a game to write home about, but we'll get into players' performances a little bit later on.
Yeah, no, I wanted to say something real quick. Cristiano, did you know?
Oba! Oh, peraí. Vai, bora.
Did you know that? Baixa lá isso, pá, tá muito alto.
I gotta lower it. Peraí.
There you
Alright,
go.
that's all right.
Did you know
Learning.
that it was the 9th time in this millennium that Benfica has changed coaches halfway through the season?
Millennium. That means in the last millennium? How does that work? Millennium.
No, in the
Since
2000s.
2000.
No, I'm not joking. I was trying to make it funny. It wasn't too funny. Wow, 9. The 9th time that Benfica has made a change in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
So
And
it happened now. Well, the same guy, though. It is what it is, right? The guy's just, jack of all trades.
But here's the other half of that trivia.
Right.
Do you know how many times the coach that took over the team finished above what the team was doing at that time?
Well, in this case, there's only
If you
two
had to
places.
guess.
In this case, there's only 2 places to go. So what about if you stayed even keel? Steve stayed where you're at. Does that count?
Better. No.
So it
better.
has to be better. Out of the 9 times, Verissimo, Lage, ding, 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 ding. So I'm gonna say once.
There was 9 coaches, bro. You're
Okay,
gonna
so
say only once?
that was my guess. Olha,
Three
whose guess?
times. 3
If you
times.
guess, it's my guess.
Give 3 times.
Oh, 3 times?
Actually, yeah, the last time when Lage was fired, we still finished second on that last game of the season. So is that one of the times, Alfredo?
I don't know. I just know it was 3 times.
Well, we don't know.
I
We don't
picked
know.
up this little bit of trivia watching a game on BT Sports. Because goddamn,
Wow,
I
you
can't-
actually learned something there because I know watching BTV, you don't learn much besides that Benfica's doing a dominating job and getting corner kicks.
Well, Sport TV was much better. The game was on Sport TV.
Yeah, but I wasn't even counting them in. I was just, and I know that considering the game was on the road, it was not going to be on BTV. I get it. But yeah, good things. They teach you stuff. But yeah, so 3 times. So I guess, Dave, as you mentioned, Verissimo. So when Lage got fired, we were 3rd and then we finished 2nd overall.
I believe that's how it went.
Well,
No,
believe or
I-
Bob?
I don't think so.
No, Sporting was
I-
that far off.
Dave, yeah, I don't know. Dave, check that. So anyway, return to the 4 center
Não, mas
backs.
ele tem razão, Alfredo. Ele tem razão. Mas espera aí.
If we
mas-
finish the same,
Não, mas espera. Mas ele tem but back in the
were
days...
we in
at the time-
second place? If we finish the
Não,
same,
o que eu ia dizer é que ficou em terceiro because they went to the Champions League playoff. But remember, at the time, it was the second place went to the playoff.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. So I guess it was second place. I just don't know. I don't remember what position Benfica were in. No, when Lage. No, that was Word. No, that was the other time around. Yeah, I don't remember. That's a good one. Alfredo, é por isso que tu és o capitão.
yeah. Look, I thought that that Benfica had a better approach to this game. Definitely started better. At least we weren't down in 2-0 by 10 minutes in. So certainly better approach by the team. But look, the first half was really, I thought the first 30 minutes was a very, very balanced. Both teams with the chance that I could remember. The one Yaremchuk one-on-one with the goalie, couldn't put that away. And then for Porto, that one save by Andre Almeida with the toe on a Taremi shot. But then in the 34th minute, Benfica slipped up and Porto got on the scoreboard and 3 minutes later, they would get on the scoreboard once again. 2 goals in the last 15 minutes of the half. Certainly not something that you want to as you're going into the locker room. And look, Cristiano, I don't know. This Benfica defense is like Swiss cheese. It's full of holes. There's nothing going on there. It's way too easy. Way too easy.
I mean, what a shocking surprise. An absolute surprise that both of those goals came from the left side where Andre Almeida was playing. I mean, I don't think any one of us saw that coming. So, credit to Futebol Clube Porto, who exploited our weaknesses, or our strengths. Maybe some might think it's a strength. But, yeah, nonetheless, look, they got in there with ease. They did what they had to do. I thought Blanco Demos, I'm interested to see what you guys got to say regarding that first goal. I thought he could have done better. You guys know I'm usually critical of things like these. But, yeah, man, I mean, there's some positives. Definitely a lot of negatives.
Well, different approach. I think different attitude, different posture, at least in this first half until the 34th minute. But yeah, Flaco Dimos, first post, you try to make yourself as big as possible. Unfortunately, if you don't have balls like Lages, sometimes you'll tend to give up goals in the 5-hole. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just thought that was too easy. People were making a big deal out of the fact that the ball boy handed the ball to the Porto player real quick, but I don't think that had anything to do.
Alfred, that happens.
That
happens
didn't have anything to do with the goal. I thought that Benfica was already set up, air quotes on that, if you want to call set up, to defend the play. It's just and the second goal, man. It's just, I don't know. It just seems too easy. It just seems too easy for me. One thing that I'm looking forward is maybe with this four back setup that we shore up the defense, because Cristiano, as you know, championships teams are built on
the core, the backbone, up the middle,
the defense.
I think all championship teams are built up the middle. In any sport, you go up the middle, go up the spine, and if you're strong in those positions, those key positions, I think you get yourself a good team. And obviously being, two center backs being the middle, the spine, obviously it goes with what you're saying. So,
Cristiano, let me ask you a question. And I know that we're getting sidetracked here.
Alfredo, I just wanted to say the pain and embarrassment of this game still live within me, right?
Oh, you got over the other pain and embarrassment from the first game?
But the memory of the game had started to escape me. I just knew that it was Begoña, and it was kind of like, it's a Begoña, it's a car wreck, and you don't want to look, but you know that there's body bags out there. The white sheets have come out, but you don't want to look, right? But you know that that's not good, and it's kind of like where I'm at now. We've witnessed the car wreck on Friday, right?
Thursday.
We've gotten past it. I'm near the next exit already, and I know if I look back, I'm gonna see the sheets, but I don't want to look back. But I know that it was bad. So I've like my memory started to fade. And you're talking about individual plays. These are games I don't want to remember, and now we're rehashing. I feel like we're in therapy, man. And you're making me relive.
Well,
here's
my thought process behind that. Right. So the game was on Thursday. So from Thursday, you had the whole weekend to kind of digest, to kind of really get over it. And then here we are back on Tuesday. So a lot more time has gone by than if the game had been on the weekend. So I think it allowed me to kind of digest it, to accept it, to make some notes of it, throw some logic in it. And I think that
ain't no logic.
I'm good.
Hey,
there
Dave,
ain't no logic.
You wanted to leave that depression in 2021, and here we are in 2022 talking about it. But listen, I understand. Look, it's Benfica podcast, and we're here to talk about it. But honestly, some aspects of the game have escaped my mind right now. They do escape my mind, I should say. But we could get into details. I don't want to, because I always, for those of you that listen, I always get carried away and I jump ahead. And I know you were about to ask a question, so I'll pass you back the mic. But before I do that, I just wanted to shout out Jose Araujo, who just along with all the other Freddie Chico and Timo and everybody else. But Jose Araujo comes on, he says, just have to say good evening and Vivo Benfica. There's the Virginia, USA. I'll watch it tomorrow, guys. Thank you for the podcast. Always waiting for a little Benfica talk. And see, things like these, comments like these, make it all worth it. And so
Yeah.
I'll be here to rehash again and open the wounds, you know what I mean? And open my soul again and relive those horrible 90 plus something minutes. But nonetheless, thank you guys for
Yeah.
listening, man. We
We-
do it because of comments like this. Go ahead.
We appreciate it. No, what I wanted to brush up on, and I really forgot, was the Pinto Costa hug to Rui Costa.
Mm.
So,
I don't.
you asking my opinion, or you want to give yours?
Well, I thought it was a call. I thought it was hard for a Benfiquista. For me, that was hard to watch. And look, you could take the high road, right? If you're a Switzerland fan, you could take the high road and said, oh, you need to bury the hatchet at some point. We need good relationships with other clubs. No, F that, right? This is a club that spent the most part of 2020 divulging
2020.
illegal, or 2019, whatever
Since
it was.
1982, bro. You
No,
being kind.
I'm talking about the emails. They spent
It was like
weeks-
2018, 2019, Alfredo. No,
weeks on end, divulging those emails that a lot of it was taken out of context, and you go and hug a guy that did that to your club, that basically started this downward spiral of swimming in the mud, in the media. I don't know how I feel about that. I know that it's a little bit of an awkward situation. A guy comes up to you, wants to give you a hug. I mean, what do? You turn your back? I don't know. Christian, what do you think, man?
Before I go, Dave, jump in, but then I'll give.
Dave,
my
cue
thoughts.
that
Go ahead.
that Vertonghen picture, because that's how I felt.
Let me find it here.
Go ahead, Christian.
Dave, do you want to get in? Oh,
No,
for
no.
That's how, when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's how I felt, man. That's how I felt.
All right, I'll go. Listen, as a diehard Benfiquista that we all are, right? And all the Freddies and everyone listening. What happened?
Now, Timu says never hug unless you're hugging his neck tightly.
Nah, here's the thing, man. Look, as a Benfiquista, it's hard to swallow, right? It definitely was. Watching that and all the rivalry, all the controversy going back and forth over the years, it's a tough pill to swallow. That being said, man, look, when you have guys such as Rui Costa in these powerful positions of being a team president, right? A club president, a guy who, was obviously a Portuguese legend, a guy who just hasn't retired not too long ago, right? It hasn't been too many years since he's retired. He's had great relationships up and down Portuguese football with all these other clubs. And this is what you're going to get. I think I mentioned it, if you guys recall last week when we talked about that other hug, right? That a lot of people thought was awkward when he came out to the press conference with Jorge Jesus, right? This is just Rui Costa, the awkward king.
Rui Costa is a hugger.
Yeah, the awkward hugger. If you recall, I said it then. I got to say it now, man. These guys, they're all from the same circle. They all live and hang out together, and they're in the same circles. These guys have to see each other. A lot of times, they have the same agent representing them. They have the same interests, and so this is what you're going to get. You want this new age president, this new age, director in your club, a guy that has to rub elbows with everybody throughout his career and even post-career, because again, Rui Costa is one of those guys. He's a Portuguese icon, and so I don't think he lets that bother him as much as obviously as Benfiquistas are. And so I think the same applies here that applied for JJ, man. You have to kind of be classy. You kind of have to look. He's looking at him. It's kind of like looking for the knife to stab him in the back. Look at that look. But I think it's definitely tough. It's definitely tough for us to watch, but it doesn't surprise me at all. Because, as I said, Rui Costa is in the same circles with everybody, and this is what these guys do. It's like, you and I are friends, and whether we should be friends or not, that's a whole other conversation. But we are, and we hang out together, and all of a sudden you're, doing the Benfica bit podcast, and I'm doing the Benfica podcast. What are we not going to talk? We're still going to talk. I mean, we might not be hanging out, going out to dinner, but we're still going to talk. We're going to say hello to one another, and they're keeping it professional, man.
Dave, what do you think? Were you able to hold your cookies, or did you toss them also?
No, that's probably persona non grata. If there is everyone, I can see where Chris is coming from in this new age where everyone, what is that saying? Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. But that one's still a tough pill, especially early in his presidency, where he might not have 100% of the support of the fans. That's a tough pill to swallow there.
Bro, here's the thing. I seen the comments and everybody talking about, you can't hug the director of the biggest rival. You have to understand, these guys don't live this like you and I do.
Yeah, but Rui Costa
But
supposedly is a
isn't that why he was
Benfiquista,
elected?
a diehard Benfiquista.
Look.
Let me
Actions speak louder than words, man. Look, I just think
I'll
these
ask you
guys,
this.
they're different, man. What's up?
Cristiano, do you think that Rui Costa lost some points from the fan base when the fan base saw him do that?
I mean, look, I don't. Oh my god, I don't want to do this.
I'm talking about perspective, right?
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna do it. I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it. All right, look. Epa, I love Rui Costa. Okay, you've seen Alfredo. You've been in my studio. I got plenty of jerseys of Rui Costa, Milan, Fiorentina, whatever. Benfica. Rui Costa is my idol, absolute idol. But that was as a footballer. If it took you, Alfredo Fumasa, David de Oliveira, the freaking Freddies on chat, if it took this past Friday, the last
Thursday.
Friday of 2020, whatever the hell it was, it might as well have been Friday. It was Friday in Australia. If it took you until the last Thursday of 2021 to realize that there are some things about Rui Costa that just don't add up, as Dave just mentioned a minute ago. Wasn't that what he ran on? He's supposed to feel like us. Bro, if it's really taking you this long to wake up and smell the coffee, okay, you are obviously disillusioned. You're a disillusioned human being. You're not certo. Because there's plenty of things that you could point the finger at over the last 13 years that haven't sounded right and haven't added up. It took you this long?
No, but I'm saying, what about the guys that were enamored with Rui Costa, the player, and thought that he would be a great president?
No batem certo. I said before, it shouldn't have taken. Look, I at the end of the day, you need to vote for who you realistically think is the right choice, the right man to head your project, not the best player to head your project. People needed to judge Rui Costa as a director, not as a player. Be remembered what he did as a director, not as a player. Be remembered for what he did the last 13 years alongside the other guy, not what he did as a player. And so, look, I'm not judging. I'm not criticizing. It is what it is. You guys made that decision. I'm just saying, if it took you this long to realize it and lose some points, then, man, look, you got to want to blame but yourself. All the signs were there. And I love Rui. Yeah. I think he's a great human being. I think he's a really nice guy. He's a gentleman. And because of him being a gentleman, this is what you're going to see in moments like this. Just like when we go to Alvalade, there'll probably be Varandas. This is what you're going to see from these types of directors. If you want the in-your-face guy, you got to go off the guy. You got to go vote, and you got to go, obviously chase the guys that don't have a playing background, that never needed a reason to be cordial with everyone else. These guys did. Like Figo. If Figo ever was to run for president of Sporting, he's going to be in the same situation and come into the lose and he'll be hugging Rui Costa and whatever. You're going to be like, right, so you're going to criticize two guys that grew up together, played in the same locker room together, that busted their ass for year after year after year, and now you're going to criticize them? They can't hug because one's a Benfica and one's a Sportingista, a president? No, it's not going to happen. So
we're talking about a different generation, though, Chris. We're not talking about Pinto Costa, who has been.
But you're not here asking me about Pinto Costa hugging Rui Costa. You're asking about Rui Costa hugging Pinto Costa. That's what the conversation was about.
It was a mutual thing.
But at the end of the day, it's about Rui Costa. It's not about
Ju-
Pinto Costa. And it's
Joaquin,
Go ahead.
Joaquin Carapinha, he says it was a good tactical play from Pinto Costa. Yeah, Pinto Costa doesn't do anything without an ulterior motive behind it. So whether it was to undermine Rui Costa, for Rui Costa to lose some of the fan base or not, or to continue the divisive the division of Benfica, I don't know. But I know that he doesn't do anything without some kind of purpose.
Listen, bro. Sometimes we tend to give people too much credit. I just took it as an innocent hug of a guy that is now the president of Sport Lisboa Benfica, comes into contact with the president of your rival, but that president, that rival, and Rui Costa have always had mutual respect for one another, right? And it's not going to end now that, at least, in their perspective, it's not going to end now that Rui Costa is a Benfica president. Look, they might not go out to dinner together, but that respect is always going to be there. So
let me ask you the question in a different matter, right? So let's say you're the president of a corporation, and you're at a dinner, an industry dinner, and also in that dinner there is a company that did you dirty, right? They stole clients from you, they stole customers from you, and it so happens that the CEO from that company is a guy that a guy that you played. Not necessarily a guy that's close to you, but a guy that you played with. As a representative of your company and understanding the history between both companies, do you go and chum it up with this guy, or do you represent your company in a professional manner and understand the history between the two companies?
It's not a simple answer. It's not as simple as yes or no, because it depends. Depends where's my company gone? Have I been successful? Am I on my way back? Do I need? Because at the end of the day, class is class.
Let's say this other company hurt your company for the past 30 years, or has done everything within their power to hurt your company for the past 30 years.
Totally different, because I've been in front of my company for 30, 40 years, right? I'm still there from day one. So obviously I've felt that rash every single day. Rui Costa did it. Rui Costa left. Rui Costa was gone. This guy's probably praising him when he's coming to Portugal, when his national team's playing there. Again, you have to understand, it's totally different than putting it in a company, Alfredo. Rui Costa wasn't the Benfica president for the last 40 years. I think now in the future, if this bullcrap continues and these attacks keep going, I think maybe relationships will get a little bit more strained between the two of them. But right now, I think it's cordial, and they're going to keep it cordial.
I don't think you can make that comparison to business world, because in business world they'd be fake all they want. But
exactly. In the business world, have I been the CEO of my company for the last 40 years, or am I a new guy coming in, Alfredo?
You're the maximum representative of your club.
Yes.
Right? You should be identified with all the values of your club. You should have cried foul when Apito Dourado was going on, regardless of whether you were president or not. As a Benfiquista, you have to feel that.
But he's not. But Alfredo, at the time, he's not a Benfiquista. At the time, he's a professional player playing in Fiorentina.
It doesn't matter. But as a Benfiquista,
no, we're Benfiquistas. Get that, please.
Let's move on. Rui Costa is not a Benfiquista.
I don't mean to. I don't mean to. Like, I don't want to stomp you. I'm not trying to call you crazy, Alfredo. We're Benfiquistas. These guys are professionals.
Okay, so we voted in a professional something.
Rui Costa's a Benfiquista. No one.
You think he's a professional Benfiquista?
But Benfiquistas like you and I, I'm saying you and I, us, the podcast world, right? There are very few of those guys. These guys are all working there today. Rui Costa is the president of Benfica. Right? Just like, if somebody came along the last 13 years at Milan and made him a great offer, financial offer that he couldn't refuse, he would have gone to Milan. Does that mean he wasn't a Benfiquista? He's still a Benfiquista. But, dude, they're different. These people are professionals. They have to be professionals at all times. I understand. I'm not saying that you are wrong. I'm not saying that the Freddies are wrong. None of the above. I agree with that trainer. But I'm trying to be rational. I'm trying to put things into perspective. They're not going to mingle with each other and hate on one another like you and I would if we saw these guys. That's the fact. That we come home after a loss, we turn off the TV. The people in Portugal go home. Que la merda. And it's the weekend, and you're still sure. These guys go home and move on to the next thing. Worry about it tomorrow.
I think that's what's wrong with Benfica. Do you know that Noronha Lopes was asked if he would ever mend things up with north, with the people up north, and you obviously know what his answer was.
But I don't know. See, first of all, Noronha Lopes wasn't Rui Costa.
This was public, but he's a Benfiquista.
But Noronha Lopes wasn't Rui Costa. And I was going to say, Noronha Lopes never needed football with Porto, but I don't know. I would like to go back and see because Noronha Lopes, and I'm not trying to call him a hypocrite, but again, until I have the facts, right? While Noronha Lopes was the face of McDonald's in Portugal, did he have any deals with football with Porto? That's how, and if he did, then Noronha Lopes is just a hypocrite like everybody else. If they didn't, then I can say, you know what? Maybe that dude, because but at the time, it's hard for me to sit here and admit that Noronha Lopes, the face of McDonald's at the time, being a Benfiquista, wouldn't have done a sponsorship deal, marketing deal with Porto if it made sense.
Go answer that question by Chico Marcelino that's up on the screen now.
You are the new Benfica president. I just said I agreed with you guys. I think like you guys. I wouldn't do it, but I'm trying to put things in perspective. I'm trying to tell you how they're thinking. I wouldn't do it. If I'm Benfica president, bro, it's like this. It's like this. I got $10 in my bank account. I'm going to be kind to all you right? I win that Powerball 800 million. I got FU money. Don't bother me nonsense, man. I'm telling you to kick rocks. Don't bother me. And once you're Benfica president, you got that bank. Don't bother me. Kick rocks. That would have been my attitude. But what are you going to do? That's not him.
Yeah, getting back to the game now. We were at halftime before we went on this tangent. That's completely my fault because this should have been talked about before we started talking about the game. But yeah, so Benfica goes into the locker room. André Almeida having a really shitty game with a yellow card. All the attacks coming through his side. And lo and behold, to my surprise, André Almeida comes back to the second half.
Bro, I didn't
with already a yellow card.
I didn't understand that.
But yeah, look, we were quick to claw one back. 46th minute, Yaremchuk from a Rafa assist. Rafa, who I swear to, I was watching the first half maybe a couple hours ago because I missed the first half. And I could have sworn that Rafa wasn't even on the field. Rafa wasn't even on the field.
Look, I just wanted to say, I thought that a guy that we talked about a lot here on the Benfica podcast about playing on the right side of the defense, and there was Morata. I thought he's really good in the first half. Second half, totally different, but I thought he was really good in the first half. I thought Benfica had a plan. I think they're going to a 4-4-2, change things up. You could tell these guys were a lot more comfortable. But then, yeah, there's just some situations in the game that leave you scratching your head. André Almeida might have been, lucky by not seeing a second yellow in the first half. So,
yeah,
I mean, to bring him back when you understand you're playing at the Dragão, they're gonna do everything possible to get this guy a second yellow because they're gonna be crying the whole time that he should have gotten the second already in the first half, and then you bring him out, and then it's just like, what Verissimo? I mean, it is what it is, brother. But he brought him out. And then the dude commits a foul that, it's kind of like a double head scratch, like Dumb and Dumber. This guy's dumb from bringing him out, and then this guy commits a foul that's like, bro, you've given the referee no other option but to give you a yellow. Like, it just, I don't know.
that was a head scratcher. But look, Benfica came out and we meant business, man. And I thought that we probably had our best moment, really, in the start the first half, and then we had André Almeida ejected in the 49th minute. But we were still attacking. I thought that the team was doing well with 10 men playing against Porto, and I thought that we did well to respond. And I thought we were going to get the equalizer. And then in the 66th minute, Verissimo has a triple substitution.
Bro, momentum deflated right there.
Yeah.
As you said, Benfica, and I'm afraid because I want you to go on, but I just want to give thoughts like that when I come back. Benfica actually looked 10 times better with 10 than they did with 11, and they finally get the momentum on their side, right? When we go into the half, deflated 2-0, it's like, oh man, here we go again. With 10, well, not 10, but then you go down to 10. It's just like, bro, but all of a sudden, Benfica picks up the play. Rafa showed up to play. Yaremchuk, you could tell they had a pep in their step. Benfica meant business.
Yeah.
They're pressing. They're moving things along. They're creating chances. And all of a sudden, that triple substitution.
Yeah.
I mean, yo,
Pizzi came in for Rafa, Tarab came in for João Mario, and Seferovic came in for Ramos. And like you said, Chris, that I was watching the game and I said, at the best time of the game for us, clearly our best moment being played over 180 minutes is when he makes a triple substitution, no less, something that's going to affect the team deeply. And then in the 69th minute, 3-1, it was all she wrote. Dave.
these are your substitutions real quick before you get to Dave. What's the three substitutions?
Pizzi for Rafa, Tarab for João Mario, and Seferovic for Ramos.
I don't understand, first of all, Dave, before you go, why in the hell is the Portuguese league still on 5 substitutions? That's number one. Number two, I don't understand the infatuation by Portuguese, at least Benfica coach, because I don't really care about anyone else. Benfica coaches with their hockey changes. It's like they want to bring a whole new line with 3 at a time. Bora, força. Like that whole thing, it killed the momentum. Rafa had done a great job. Look, when Rafa's only good, when he's got space in front of him, when he's on a counter, Benfica's doing a great job of getting him the ball into open space. Yaremchuk is exactly what you need. If you're going to have a guy, you're coming back from 2-1, and you're going to try to come with counters, and you're trying to get the ball into the box, you need a guy like Yaremchuk was good with his head, a guy that's, as we know, he's only good in the box. And then you take them out? I don't understand. I don't know. But I guess I do in another way, because I guess you have to get Pizzi into the game, right, Dave?
Well,
Lazaro came in for Yaremchuk, but we had to make that substitution.
We did?
do we?
Why?
Because Andre Almeida had gone down.
Oh, that. Yeah. Okay. Sing.
But
Well,
we're
gone out,
already
right.
down. We're already down at that point. You're going to take off a striker to fill up
See, but-
a goal.
I think that's what was it, Bruno or Hugo that was saying that was it was Bruno. Bruno saying, why put in a defender when you're down 2-0? Why don't you leave the strikers up?
Yeah, that. Well, he said, why not bring another striker in? That's what he meant. No, you understand the substitution, but I still think that maybe, I don't know, man. Look, João Mario was a guy, in my opinion, that's really gave us nothing over the last couple of months or so. There's other substitutions you could have done, but your first reaction is to take out a striker, the lone guy up top, and bring in a defender when one of your defenders gets a red card. But in this game, I just, Yaremchuk gets on the score sheet. Right? I'm not making things up, right?
Yeah.
Yaremchuk gets, and it seemed like Benfica had the momentum, the tempo was on their side, and it just, again, Benfica, another Benfica manager, doesn't matter who it is, it seems, over the last freaking decade, doesn't matter who the manager is, when we go to the bench, so da merda.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just gonna make that point about Yaremchuk. I wouldn't have personally taken him off for Almeida in that situation, even if the sub was made kind of right away as a point to Almeida, but we're already down at that point. So if we're trying to go for at least a tie, I don't see why taking off another striker to bring another defending player. You can make the argument that Lazaro brings more going up front than an Almeida does in that position, but I thought it was all these substitutions here in the second half really didn't hit well, and we paid for it ultimately with the Porto third goal here.
Look, once Almeida gets a red card, I get the substitution. He has to bring in a guy because he wants to solidify things at the back. It doesn't matter how well you're doing attacking if you can't stop the other team from scoring and extending the lead. So I understand that. But again, there were other options, as someone mentions here on the Joaquin Caparinha says, you could have taken out Ramos. Ramos to me was non-existent, with the exception of a player to really didn't add much. You could have made other substitutions, as I said before. But I guess, the itch was too much to go ahead and bring in 3 guys at once and try to change things up from the get. And it didn't work out. I thought Pizzi was a guy that we all know, and he received so much praise, criticism, depends on what side of the aisle you're at. over what happened with JJ after the previous game. How he was, furious. Comes in the locker room screaming and hollering. I thought he should have started. I thought he should have been the best popcorn guy. Should have been the best beer salesman guy, the peanut guy. He should have been everywhere. And the guy comes in, and I'm expecting this rage. I'm expecting the foam, right, coming out of his mouth, and yet he's apologizing to Zaidu for grabbing him, and sorry to the Porto bench. He's like, yo, bro, we're good. Yo, you after the game? Abrazos after the game with Pinto Costa later, maybe? No? So, Alfred.
Do you think that maybe Pizzi and JJ didn't see eye to eye?
Oh. Do I bring up that picture, Alfredo?
Às vezes é difícil.
Yeah, you gotta be on top of things, Dave.
Sometimes é difícil, man. You're looking one way, I'm looking the other way. It's gonna be difficult for us to see eye to eye. Look, forget JJ. It's not about JJ. It's about. I just expected a totally different attitude.
I just think that they saw each other eye to eye.
Which one?
It's the frequency. Yeah, I'm nice to people. See, I'm not rude. I don't do those types of jokes.
No. Yeah, but look, I don't know if there's a silver lining to take out of this. I don't know. Certainly different posture by the team, albeit not enough. Then a couple of mistakes, technical mistakes from the coach. I thought that, as I mentioned here, that took out the momentum that we were, even with 10 players, we had a little bit more. We had more momentum than Porto.
Which is normally the other way around. Porto goes down to 10 and they outplay us. And the Taça and all, like, I don't even know over the last, I think I mentioned last podcast, over the last 3 or 4 games, they play like 300 something minutes down a man and they score like 6 goals. We score 1 or whatever the case was. And now we've seen the roles reversed, and it was a pleasant thing to see. Obviously, you never want to see Benfica being down, but that was the case at the halftime, down 2-0. And Benfica had a spirit, they had a fight in them. And I just keep going back. I think to me that was the turning point of the game. Obviously, you could point the finger real heavily at the decision to keep what's his name, Andre Almeida in the game after that. After having a yellow card in the first half, he should have been smarter. Should have taken him out, but he didn't. So that's strike number 1. But I think the turning point was the substitutions that really turned the point. Because even then, being down a man, Benfica was still playing relatively well, and
I agree. I think that was the turning point of the game, was that triple substitution in the 66th minute by Veríssimo. So, look, it could have worked out, or it couldn't, or it didn't, or it wouldn't, and it ended up not working out. If anything, just buried the team. But Dave, how do you feel about this game, man? Is this an easier pill to swallow than the defeat against Porto for the Portuguese Cup?
I really don't know. The first game was just a disappointment right from the start there, that you just throw your hands up, and even right before the second before the second half even starts, you just throw your hands up and kind of wave the white flag. But this one, like we keep alluding to, that there were some chances for us to score too. Right? I don't think we've touched upon that. The Yaremchuk one-on-one with Porto's keeper there, and he shoots it at him. We had the opportunities, and you know what? That's kind of like a microcosm of this season. We haven't been converting on the chances that are given to us, and not even a minute or two, we were looking at the other end of the field, and the ball's in the back of our net too, right? So there were some areas there that left us wanting more, and you could see that we could have potentially been in this match. And then there's other areas like Almeida picking up the red card, and you're already behind the 8 ball, where we were chatting amongst ourselves there at halftime that a sub needed to be made to bring off Almeida, right? But hey, we don't get paid the big bucks to manage the team here.
Yeah. Hey, Dave. Let's wrap up with your stats, and then if you could, after your stats, if you could queue up some of the questions people in the
Better. I hate to say I'm right, but yo, when you're right, you're right.
Did you have 3-1?
Yeah, 3-1, but the other way, no?
No. That's Maluco.
Chris, no.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but when it's with getting it right against my team, hit me up.
Chris 3-1.
We had 1-1 each.
1-1. That's what we had. But yeah, Dave. Oh, and the refereeing. I don't know if we need to get into the refereeing. That handball on
That
on
was a handball,
Port's
dude.
first goal. I've seen angles, and look, Sport TV only gave us one angle and about maybe two replays as compared to any play that Benfica was involved in, and when the job is done in that matter by Sport TV, then you know something fishy is going on. But I have seen an angle from behind, so from Vlaco Dimos's point of view, but closer, and it looks like there's a bit of a shoulder there involved, that the ball hits the shoulder, not the hand. But hey, I don't know. Still up for discussion.
Hey man, I think look, baby steps, right? Baby steps. And I think the fact that they had a goal called back because of the VAR at the Dragão, I think that's a win. I think so. That's really like 3-2 in our book, you know. We just came up one short.
Yeah, ring the bell on that one.
Is this the angle you were looking at?
Yeah, but that again, is it touching? We don't know, Dave.
We don't know.
I mean, you know,
We don't know if it's touching. I know that that Timo had posted something on Twitter of the video, and look, everybody's seen that video, and it does in fact look like
it does look like
he helped himself with the hand. But look, as Cristiano mentioned, having a goal call back on VAR at the Dragão is already a win in my
That's a
book.
win, bro. That's a win. Now, as Nelson Carvalho stating here on the chat, yeah, somebody sent me this stuff on Twitter as well, so I wasn't sure what I mean, Alfred, you're the referee, but now apparently the new handball rule, if your shoulder extends to where your sleeve ends, but that shit sounds dumb, because if I wear long sleeve, then it you know what I mean?
No,
but that's what I had a bunch of people replying to me on Twitter, that the new handball rule, that, you know, obviously the shoulder extends to where the cutoff of the sleeve is.
I haven't heard such a thing.
I mean, yo,
So you
Ronaldo
mean
wears long sleeves all day.
You could trap the ball with your bicep and you're good to go.
I'm saying another.
No, I haven't heard such a thing. Dave, what stats on this game, please?
Yeah. Almeida picks up his second yellow card in the 49th minute. He's the third Benfica player in the last 5 seasons to pick up a red card at the Dragão. Zivkovic in 2017-18 and Gabriel in 2018-19 were the other 2 players. Benfica have now been outscored 9-2 in their last 3 matches against Sporting and Porto here this season. And Benfica are now 7 points behind with 1 match to go in the first half of the season. Only once has a team managed to recover a 7-point deficit to become champions, and that was Lage.
7 points to one team. You're talking about 7 points to 2 teams, and 2 teams that, as I mentioned last podcast, that have been nothing but consistent this week. The thing is that yeah, and after the game in Manchester United, Lage said today is 3.5 years since a change in my professional life. You know, anyway, doesn't matter.
And he did say that all the red in the stands reminded him of Stadio de Luz.
Yeah, that's
trying to butter up, but you know, Alfredo thinks that coming back a second time is a no-go, so I guess conversation's over. On to the next topic.
No, I wouldn't take Lage back unless there was a very deep clean of this locker room and of the directive and all of that.
You know, Lysol is tough to come by nowadays because of
Yeah.
Just saying.
Dave, throw us some questions, man. I know some. I've seen some questions here that are pretty decent.
Let's
Yo,
see
Dave.
here. Yeah,
Anybody but Hugo, okay? No questions from him.
I'm gonna get Hugo on here one of these days. How do you guys feel about Benfica throwing in the towel this year? Because with Verismo, that's what it looks like. I'm embarrassed. $100 million team.
Yeah, and that's what Chris had mentioned last week, right? it's okay that you appoint an interim coach, but what kind of messages does that send if you say you're my coach till the end of the season, right? So I can understand that. I don't know if look, gaining 7 points on two teams is very hard. Gaining 7 points on one team is hard already, but it could be done, obviously, as we've seen. But certainly two teams is a lot. My perspective and understanding and interpretation of Verissimo being appointed to the end of the season, and albeit I understand Chris's point and I don't disagree with it, I just think that I think that for one, I think that Rui Costa needs time to find the proper coach for this team. And you're just not going to go on eBay and get a coach tomorrow. This takes time. So my understanding is that. And then by giving that guarantee to Verissimo, you also tell Verissimo, hey, you got time, do your thing. It doesn't have to be something that's reactive. Work the team so you could at least get this team to some kind of shape towards the end of the season. That's how I understand it, but I certainly understand Chris's point, how it gives off the wrong message to the fan base.
Alfredo, I'm gonna add a question to that question. You said it gives Verissimo time. Time for what?
To make 3 substitutions in a game.
Oh, okay.
Five.
Well, five. Okay, time
to-
for what?
To have
He ain't
fucked
coming
up-
back. He ain't gonna be our coach in July and June when the club reports.
Nah,
July,
but it
first
gives
week
him
of July.
time to work. It gives him time to work.
He could've
And
given him-
But here's the thing, Chris. Here's the thing. Let's say that Rui Costa grabs this guy, right? Grabs this guy, knows who his guy is. We're in the middle of February, right?
It's the rotten special one. That's who it is.
Let's say that's what he does. This is my guy. This is the guy that I want. He's ready to come now. Do you think that Verissimo would be dumb not to say, okay, I accept that. I understand that. I'm going to step down. I'm going to go back to the B team. Or do you
Wait,
think said, no,
say
fuck
that-
that.
Wait, say that again.
Do you think that Verissimo, understanding that now Rui Costa has found the man that he wants for the future of Benfica, do you think that Verissimo would be dumb not to realize the moment and say, that's fine. Thank you very much.
I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think Verissimo was appointed because Rui Costa has identified his man, but his man is not available until June. So he needed someone a caretaker. He needed someone to sit around now and babysit until said coach is available in June. That's what I think it is. But
Right.
at the end of the day, I think with Benfica being alive and all with the exception of the Taça, right? Because obviously since we lost the first Thursday, we were eliminated from the Taça Portugal. We're still alive in 3 of the 4 competitions that we started the season on. I thought there's still a lot at play, and Benfica could have, look, 4 points at the time. You go into the Dragão, even if you get a draw, you still come out you're still 7 points behind Sporting. But again, look, we've seen it 2 years in a row, right? It had been such a long time since a team had made up 7 points, and Benfica did it. And then the very following year, happened again. Porto did the opposite to Benfica. So we've seen it over the last couple of years. The only reason why it didn't happen last year to Sporting is because Porto and Benfica kept tripping all over themselves. That's how shit they were. So I think you could have sent a totally different message. Now, to answer your question, if said coach became available tomorrow, would Verissimo step aside? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, would he be dumb not to understand the moment and say, okay,
He's got no choice.
I don't think he has any suitors knocking at his door, right?
What choice does he got? Go back to the B team of Paquembora.
but I'm saying, but he could turn around to Rui Costa and say, hey, you promised me the job till the end of the year. What happened?
In football, o que é verdade ontem é mentira hoje, pá. You know what I mean? Like, that's how football is, man. I don't think Verissimo would look. Verissimo was appointed because he's there. It was the easy option. There's a guy that's familiar with the players, a guy that's familiar with the people upstairs. Basically a guy that's gonna not cause, that's gonna stir any problems up, and he's gonna do what they want him to do. At the end of the day, Verissimo will be very happy to be back with the B team at the end of the year. I think Benfica could have done better, should have done better. I think this club needs I totally understand not bringing in a guy for the long term because those guys might not be available, but there's still guys with more experience available today than Verissimo has, and I think they could have had Benfica better prepared at all fronts to challenge for the remaining competitions that they're involved in. I mean, so much so. Look at the very first game; he tripped on himself. That we sit here and we talk about the 2 points that changed this game for Benfica. Even after being down 2-0, you can still turn around and point the finger to bringing Andre Almeida out for the second half was a huge mistake. And then that substitution totally took the air out of the balloon. He stopped. It wasn't Porto that stopped Benfica on their tracks. Verissimo and that 3 substitutions stopped Benfica in their tracks. So he's shown right away from the very first game that he is not suited for this. I just think it was a bad job all around. I spoke to someone today in the Benfica world, and we spoke for a little bit about this, and I gave him my thoughts. And he said, look, this is a guy that is going to come in. He's going to know how to deal with personalities, and he's going to be able to get his message across, and he's not going to really cause much of a problem with the directors. He's going to do what they ask him to do. But it comes down to just bringing in a player manager after you went from a guy that was confrontational. And I said, man, I would almost give you that if Rui Vitória wasn't a player manager, if Bruno Lage wasn't a player manager, because those guys were player and they stepped all over them. Then you brought in an authoritarian guy that was supposed to sit there and discipline everybody.
And then the players stepped all over him.
And stepped on him too. So, like, to me, the players I don't longer care about what they really want.
Chico Marcelino is asking, would you sign anyone from the Premier League except from the other 2 grands, of course? Hugo said in the chat, Marcus Edwards. I think that would probably be one of my guys. To be honest with you, I would look to the league for anybody that could be a good right back or a good left back or a good filler here and there. I don't know if I don't watch enough of the rest of the league, but yeah, Chico Lincoln. Yeah, I've heard it.
I was signed the dude that we were linked with all off season, and then unfortunately we didn't get him.
Eustáquio?
No, Eustáquio. I like Eustáquio, but I'm not sure he's a Benfica player. Yeah, you want to tell me he's like 16th guy on the roster? Fine, but I don't think he's a starter. The guy that I thought we should have gone after is the dude from Braga, the number 6, the Trinco. Musratu. That guy.
Musratu.
That guy. I still think Benfica needs a legit number 6. Vigo's he's done a really good job, but it's not his natural. It's not his natural position. He doesn't have the physicality that at times you need with the 6. You need that força, that power, that motor. And he makes up for it with his position because the guy is really smart and he reads the game really well. But sometimes when you just need somebody to knock down the opposition, and he's not the guy that's going to do that. So I think Musrati is one of the first guys I'd absolutely go get.
Nelson Carvalho is asking if Newcastle offers 30 million for Vlaco Dimos, do we accept it and sell him in January? I mean, if you've already thrown in the towel, fuck it. Just sell your goalkeeper.
I would, Alfredo, you're being too generous.
30 million for a coach, for a goalie. That's good money.
I would do everything in my power to go buy whomever this individual from Newcastle is making the offer. I do everything in my power to go buy him a straitjacket and I check him into a mental hospital because you've got to be dumb to spend that type of money for a goalie like Vlaco Dimos. So, I mean, in short, hell yeah, I'll do it. How about that?
Joaquin Carapinho is saying, I heard about Diego Lachalt. Did you hear anything about that? I saw a couple of things on Twitter by
who's that, the left back?
He's a Uruguayan
left back
with
used to be at Milan.
You're supposed to come. Yeah, you went from I think in somewhere in Holland. He went to Milan. He was rumored to come to Benfica at the time, but Milan won out that time. He's a left back, a guy, gritty mother. He's gonna beat. Look, I tell you this much: he's not as good as we all once thought. But he shows up at Benfica tomorrow. Grimaldo might as well pack his bags and see out the door. Grimaldo's never going to see the field again because this guy's got raza.
Yeah, I think he's quality. I think
he was at Rosenborg. I don't know where he was at. He was at one of those clubs.
He's good, man. Started for the national team.
I've got his page up right here. I don't see anywhere in the Netherlands. He's only been
just make shit up.
He's only been with. He was actually originally to Inter. Inter loaned him out to Bologna, Empoli, Genoa. Then Genoa
then-
had him. And then
Where
Milan
did he
bought him
play?
off of Genoa.
So he was okay, whatever. I don't know why. I'm thinking I must be confused with someone else. But yeah, I remember Benfica was linked with him about 3 years ago. Right after the World Cup, I believe. He had a really good
Yeah.
World Cup for Uruguay. And I don't know why I'm mixing up Holland, but there's probably some other player. But I already had the braids and the whole nine. Left him. Look, for those of you that know me really well, Benfica is my love, but my side piece has always been Milan. So I'm very aware of his time in Milan. But I just, for some reason, I don't know why I was getting Holland in there somewhere. Well, you can't even say Holland no more. Now it's the Países Baixos, the lower países, lower country.
Chris, or actually, let me ask Dave. Dave, if Verissimo shows up at Rui Costa's door with a or with a list of targets, do you think he has any authority to demand that? Do you think his demands will be met by Rui Costa?
Rui Costa first gives him a hug, says "Bom dia," and then he tells him to go fuck himself. That he's got no authority in there.
Chris,
I don't think he tell him to go F himself, but he say, "I'm mute. Put no teu sítio. All right, get in your place."
he gives him a hug and then he gives him the buzzer. He hits the buzzer.
Nah, it's a negative, bro. And then Verissimo would go. I tried. Touch me again.
One more substitution coming up.
Yeah, one more question here. What'd you guys think about Andre Almeida hitting the symbol like he was the biggest Benfiquista in the world after he got the sending off? And that's from Joaquim Carapinha.
Nothing wrong with that. Look, he's
He's just looking for a hug.
he's at the Ladrón. He's obviously in the opposition stadium. It's not the right time to ask. The guy's trying to defend this color. So nothing. I mean, look, we like to pick on guys, but I think right now it's unfair.
Yeah. No,
He defended us. Look,
Just got thrown out.
He defended us more than Rui Costa apparently did up in the suite. So I mean, you guys can't criticize Rui Costa and not criticize him. You gotta one way or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
What
it.
else? What other questions, Dave? There was a bunch of questions, man. You're slacking, man.
Nobody's
I
got
know
questions for us.
It's only been
Yeah,
2 weeks.
the Freddies are active here.
Where's
so I gotta
Carlos?
scroll up.
Is Carlos out of medical school again? Where's he?
No,
attending
Carlos
to
is
get
here.
his. Carlos,
is here.
I haven't seen Carlos say. I mean, he's normally very chatty, but he's very quiet lately. I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, maybe his hands are busy.
And the peasy chants
Examining
before the game by our supporters. Vergonha.
Yeah. No, he I forget. Yeah, the bus arrived at the hotel and there was 6 or 8 people waiting for the bus. No, that's probably
there was more. There was a nice
and
handful. 50,
when
60.
Pizzi stepped down, he was people were clapping up for him. But look,
Hiroi, they want a statue of him right next to Eusebio, bro.
Look, it's a perfect description of what Benfica fans are right now. And Chris often says that Benfica fans are fickle and borderline burros. And I think that some people were happy that he was the one guy that caused JJ to leave or JJ to get sacked. So maybe he does deserve some credit when it comes to that. But in terms of what he's brought to the team, is what his whole attitude. And look, I'm not taking anything away from the guy in terms of what he's done for the club. His numbers for the club are speak for themselves, right? But is a guy that this year has not done anything for the club. He's always a guy that looks annoyed when he goes in. Always seems that he's at half effort every time he goes in. I don't know.
Look, Zacharias just said Pizzi then to 2025, and that leads me to my next. It's my time. I'm asking a question. If Pizzi was Benfica president, you think he hugs? But by the way, if Pizzi's Benfica president one day and Pinto Costa's still around, bro, I want to take what he's taking. But does he hug Pinto Costa?
Not only does he hug Pinto Costa, he probably winks at him.
Epa, with what eye?
Throw up that
Which
picture.
eye?
You pick one.
Oh, they got the wrong one.
Yo, what's up with that? Was he nervous? I mean,
He had the same things as Messi. I don't know.
Shiku's asking. I'm not looking. I'm looking at the chat. Shiku's asking a question for you guys. Can you name or make whatever name your best Benfica 11 of players that you saw?
É pá,
É
foda-se.
Benfica.
Isso é muito complicado, pá.
É fácil, pá. Para ti,
There-
o Paulo
there's-
Souza é o
there-
primeiro. Vai.
No, isso é muito complicado because
Why? Why is it so complicado?
because you're always gonna leave somebody.
So what?
out. But
So what?
okay, let's go with this.
Goalie.
Bentu.
You, Dave? Well, Dave didn't see Bento play. Dave was.
Me,
much.
Perdome was probably I'm still young. I was born in '92, so I'll go
Manuel
Perdome.
Bento. Manuel Bento for me. So Perdome, Bento. Right back.
Vloz.
Dave?
Dave's too young, man.
Yeah.
Okay, but it still is 11 that he's seen. It doesn't have to be the best. It's what he thinks, bro. Totally shut. Dave, go ahead. What do you pick? Doesn't matter.
It's got to be Nelson Semedo for me. I don't know. There's got to be somebody I'm missing out from there.
I was gonna go with Nelson Smith, but since you want Smith, I'm gonna go opposite. I'm gonna go Miguel. Center backs.
I'm gonna go. This one is tough, man. But
It's easy for me.
Moser and Ricardo for me. That Ricardo Gomes. That
Okay.
that dupla, that tandem, man, to me was class.
Alaid and Ricardo Gomes for me. Dave.
Modern era, Luizão and Garay.
Okay.
There you
Left
go.
back.
That's a good shout.
Left back. This is the one that temos lixados. Pá, só tem option. Mais nada. Não tem mais nada. Unless you're going to go with Alvaro. But Alvaro's way. Or, you can put Veloso on the left because I didn't put
Well-
Veloso on the right.
You
so.
could go. The left back has been so poor, but you could go Dimas.
Nobody's asking. Just
could
stop
go-
cheating. Ask
Okay,
answer the question. Dave, he doesn't want to leave anybody else. So he's going to name the whole roster for the last 30 years.
Dimas,
Magrejo,
Coentrão,
Emerson.
Siqueira, Leo. I like Leo. I'm going to say
Okay.
Leo.
Dave.
Yeah, I had almost forgot about him. Might as well. Yeah, I'll other than Grimaldo, I don't want to throw Grimaldo, so I'll go with Leo.
I wanted to go with Coentrão, but I'm gonna go with Veloso just because played a tremendous amount of years of Benfica. And
Veloso was a right back, dude.
he played both, dude. He played a lot of left too, dude. All right.
He did that.
He did played a lot of left.
You're right.
Midfield. We're going to 4-3-3, 4-2-2. What we doing?
Now
Guys
it's
in the
when-
midfield. Paulo Souza, Jana Stern, and because it's my favorite, I'm gonna go Rui Costa, but I could have gone Carlos Manuel. There's a bunch of Diamantino.
It's so hard, man. It's so
But
hard.
I'm gonna go Jana Stern because that dude was phenomenal. People don't that dude was amazing. Paulo Souza, look, we understand, but whatever. And then Rui, that's my 4-3-3. Oh, my three in the middle. Go ahead, Fredo. You choose.
Look, it's hard to not look at those Benfica from the 80s and see some real gems. That Jordan Stern, you mentioned one. I'm gonna say Matic. I'm gonna say Matic. I'm going to say Valdo as a 10.
Yeah, but see, you could pocket Valdo. But if it's a 4-3-3, you're not playing Valdo. That's why I said 4-3-3.
Man, that's why it's so difficult, man.
I know, but so what formation we going with? Alfredo, you the captain. You choose 4-3-3, 4-4,
4-4-2.
4-4-2. So then it obviously changes my formation again.
Two in the
So-
middle.
Two in the middle, Jana Stern and Rui Costa.
I'm gonna go with Matic and Valdo.
Okay. Yeah, fuck. Dave.
I'm gonna go with Matic and Witzel.
But my boy Kulkov, bro. No love for Kulkov's 2 goals in Leverkusen. All right, right mid. Alfredo, there's only 2 guys you could go with. What, 3?
Pineda.
There's three. Fuck. There's 3 guys.
Pineda.
You going Pineda. Dave?
Was Simão on the right or on the left?
He's one of the options. That's why I said 3. There's 3 guys you go on the right. You go Pineda.
He played left also.
I know, but you again sit on the right. You could go Pineda, you could go Pavorsky, and you could go Simão. But here's the tough problem. I'm gonna go with João Vieira Pinto on the right side.
Not as a striker.
No, because I gotta put Valdo in there. Valdo's for sure. I mean Valdo. Sorry, Jonas. Jonas is up there, and so now I don't know what guy I'm gonna go up top, but it's probably gonna. He's my second guy, so I'm gonna put João Pinto on the right. Simão on the left. Jonas and then I don't know. It's between Valdo or between. We hate to say it, but the dude's the leading goal scorer in the history. I mean, I don't want to go Nanan, all those guys. That's way too early, Alfredo. So I'm leaving those earlier because you go Diamantino, you go Mats Magnussen. You could there's plenty. Van Hooijdonk was tremendous when he had that 1 year. But João Tomás, no, I'm joking. The guy I'm gonna go with is Cardozo, just because the guy, look, he scores a shitload of goals. So why not?
Yeah.
So on the right, you still going with Pineda?
I'm going with Pineda. On the left, I saw Shalana play.
Oh, shit.
But
Me too, but
I think Simão. And then I think up front, I go Jonas and João Vieira Pinto.
wow, you left your boy Aymar out.
I don't know. I think
I agree.
that
That's
Valdo was a better 10 than Aymar.
So you go with Valdo and Jonas up top? Oh, no, Valdo went instead of Rui Costa. Who are you two up top? It was Jonas and who, Alfredo? I'm sorry.
João Vieira
João
Pinto.
Vieira.
Okay. All right. And you, Dave?
I
You
would
gonna
go
go
with
Simão?
those two guys up front as well. Trying to think of left wingers. Di Maria was a left winger or a right winger?
Left. He played both. Played both.
Then in my time, my modern time, I'd put Di Maria there. One guy, special shout out, Mikoli too, doesn't get enough shout out for some of his.
He's
great
good.
moments
He's
too.
good, but Diamantino was way better. There's other guys you could go with. Look, on the right, I'm trying to be, and it wouldn't have been my favorite player, but I'm just going on numbers. And Cardozo is a guy that gets no love, but he's got a shitload of goals. So, but it's be Jonas, and because obviously you could put Poborski on the right side or Shalana, and then you could move João Pinto as my second guy. But then I don't have a true box guy, so I was trying to insert a true box guy. But
It's too hard. It's hard, man.
it is, but that's great. That means you've had great success. Timo, you could tell he's like 26 years old. Oblak, Smith, Luizão, Garay, Coentrão, Matic, Witzel, Simão, Gaetan, Jonas, Cardozo. That's all guys that are 2000.
Was this a starting 11 at some point?
I mean, it could have been. It could have.
No, I think
because
that
Simão
No,
wasn't
Jonas
there.
and Cardozo were never
Yeah,
together.
And Simão wasn't there
Witzel was
either.
gone. Witzel was gone when Jonas was there.
Joaquim says Michel Predoma, Semedo, Luizão, Garay, Coentrão, Matic, Aymar, Di Maria, Poborski, João Pinto, Jonas. Okay, my team beats that one too. What? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. That's it.
Yeah,
Nobody.
the other ones are just throwing in names as we were going.
Nah,
as by position.
it's a great exercise. Hey, maybe we should do
Abel Xavier, estás lixado, pá.
we should
Easy. That's a
do
good
like
one.
we should look at maybe a 5-year period and or a 10-year period and vote for our best 11 in a 10-year period. It's a good exercise. Let's save that for an off week.
When Benfica's on or not, like when Benfica like
There's
fully
always an
shits
off
the
week.
bed and yeah,
We've
we
had
don't
2
wanna
off
talk about
weeks.
something.
Yeah, let's reserve that for March when the season's going to be done.
March. Give me 2 weeks. March.
Yeah, team of the decades. That's a good idea, Nelson. I think maybe 5 years. 5 years, you might still catch the same.
That's
group
not a
of players.
decade. That's not a decade.
Yeah,
Alfredo.
no, I know, but I was thinking of because 10 years might be too expensive. But I think that, I think that 10 years ago. No Bina.
I like the way Timo's
Binha
going.
Savri.
We go the
Bin-
opposite way, and we make the worst team of the decade too, and give
Yeah,
some
we could do
shout-outs,
that too. We could, Bina. What's that the dude that we got that came from Beira-Mar, the Brazilian dude that had the blonde Madeixas?
Beto.
That,
Yeah, it was Beto, yeah.
He
Bina
scored
Beto.
against United. Though.
Balboa is definitely the starting right mid on that one. Carlitos, remember Carlitos? We used to get Carlitos, Manu, Manduca, Mandusa. I don't even know all those guys.
Bina, Fernando Guiar, and Beto. That's quite a trio for you.
And what about Yebda?
And,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I actually thought that Yebda
Yebda
was okay.
all right. Yebda was all right.
All right, let's
Coach,
start.
coach, they're asking the coach. It's only one, bro. It's only one.
Let's
Tá a falar do Sven Goran Eriksson, no Jorge Jesus, pá, pelo amor de Deus.
All right, let's start wrapping this up. We got Passo Ferreira coming up this Sunday, 6 p.m. local at Estádio Luz, as I mentioned. Dave, what's Passo Ferreira up to?
This season they're currently in 10th with 17 points from 4 wins, 5 draws, 7 losses. Historically, we've won 44, drawn 5, 4 defeats in our previous 53 meetings. Last time Paços have beaten Benfica was back in January 2015. Benfica's gone 12 wins, 1 draw since then. And both clubs have already met this season for the Taça, where Benfica won 4-1.
Yeah. We'll see. Look, I think that the expectations are just like, well, it is what it is, right? We got It is what it is at the helm. So I don't know what to expect from this Benfica team for the rest of the season. Hopefully, we won't get embarrassed, and we'll be able to at least get third spot, which will get us. Will it get us into the qualifiers, or we'll go direct?
No, third we'll have to go through the playoffs.
Qualifiers, right? Yeah. Somebody was saying if Rui Costa would go for Conte. I think that any Italian coach, just because of his Italian ties at this point, would be in the conversation. However, when you talk about Conte, you talk about lots and lots of money, and I don't think he's going to come from the Prem to the Portuguese league. I think it's a huge step down for a guy like that.
He's not leaving Tottenham anytime soon, bro.
No, I think
They just started.
Yeah.
Sheeking.
He's going to
Who said Sheeking? Sheeking? The dude was so nasty last year. Oh, you guys want him to start over at the top that he barely plays at Braga, and now they're shipping him back.
Are they shipping him back?
Yeah, they're not.
Didn't we sell them outright?
We loaned them.
No,
They're shipping them back.
Another headache. Send Chiquinho to the MLS. You'll do well over here.
MLS might not even want him with Insigne coming over here. We don't have no room for Chiquinho.
Somebody will take him.
Yeah, I know. These ain't todos, mas ninguém aparece aqui.
Oh, Joaquin Carapinho was saying he asked about Pirlo, not Conte. I think we might have we talked about Pirlo a couple
last
weeks ago.
Last week. I wouldn't mind Pirlo.
No,
look, he's a new age coach. This is what these guys with great respect from the sidelines. I know he didn't have success with Juve, but you have to understand, Juve was filled with egotistical personalities. It was going to take the very best, a tough time to deal with those personalities and align those guys. So much so, you see, they left. Ronaldo left, the whole yada, yada, bang, bang, bang. And they're actually worse now with the coach that had a lot of success, Maximiliano Allegri, talking about guys never going back to where they had success. And he's having a tough time with that club. Yeah. So I think it's unfair to judge Pirlo on that. I think he's a guy that adds a lot, a guy that has tremendous experience, a guy that's very cool, calm, and collected in the locker room. And at the end of the day, these players, when they look at him, they're going to have a tremendous amount of respect for him. So he's going to command that locker room. So I wouldn't mind him at all. But it wouldn't be my first choice. But
yeah, like talking about clubs that are in disarray, that regardless of what coach goes there, everything falls apart. Juve.
Juve. I mean, look, I like Pirlo. I wouldn't discard him right away. I would not discard him right away.
Hugo says Paulo Fonseca is my choice. I already mentioned 4 names: Paulo Fonseca, Jardim, the dude from River, and Paiva. Those are 4 names that
Paiva's going back to Ecuador.
Yep.
He turned down the LAFC apparently.
He's a freaking king over there, dude.
Yep. So, I don't want the first. I like Paulo Fonseca a lot. It'd be nice for him to come, but I think if he was coming, he'd come now. I don't think he'd wait until June. So I think he's discarded. Plus, he's got a tremendous amount of suitors, I think.
Yeah, he's gonna want to stay in the Premier. Or go to the Premier, rather. No, that's where I think he'll be. All right, let's wrap this up.
Maybe Pep gets tired of winning in blue and wants to win in red. You know what I'm saying? Rui Costa, Pep, they had great admiration for one another. Who knows?
I'm not sure about Mark Silva, to be honest with you.
He's not leaving
Fulham. I've been higher on Mark Silva than I am.
Mark Silva's not leaving Fulham. I'm not trying to poo-poo your ideas, but Mark Silva has Fulham headed back to the Premier League. He's in London. He's going to have buckets and buckets of cash. why would he leave that situation after he gets the team back into
Yeah.
the top of it? I just doesn't.
It just
don't-
look. I think that even when you look at the Premier League and the fan culture, even the media culture, it's completely different from the garbage that you see in Portugal, man. I don't know how a coach
Come
in
on,
their
bro.
right
Don't
mind.
be rude. Come on, Pedro Guerra, Aníbal, no sé qué. Those guys are all first
They're
class individuals, bro.
fucking stars.
What's his name? Aníbal Bass, not Bastos. Aníbal, I went to school. That was my boy. Aníbal, what's his name? Aníbal Costa. Aníbal, I don't know. That Portista. Those guys are all first class individuals.
If we will do a process of 2 months like they did to hire Renato Paiva to Ecuador, it would be happy with any choice. I think if it's a thorough choice, look, here's the thing, right? I think that a coach has to, more importantly, fit the plan that the president has for this team. What are your objectives? What are you looking to accomplish? What type of growth goals do you have? What stages do you want to get this team? I think that if you have a coach that subscribes to that idea or is the right coach for that idea, that's the coach you want to get. Not necessarily a coach that you're going to grab that regardless of having success and having a nice, rich, full CV, it might not be a coach that meets the plan that you have for the team. But then again, you might not have a plan for the team. So any coach is good.
That's my biggest problem. Because you're like, interview the coach and ask him what his plan is. I don't think it should be that way. I think Benfica should have a plan.
You got to know how the guy aligns.
No, but I think Benfica should have a plan and then go get somebody that fits that plan, not opposed to, I have absolutely no fucking clue what we're doing, but what do you think? You know what I mean, Alfredo?
Yeah.
I think Benfica needs to have a plan in place, and they need to find someone that fits that plan like a glove. And then they need to identify 3-4 guys and then go through that process with those 3-4 guys. But again, they have to get 3-4 guys that they already know that fit their plan.
Yeah.
And by the way, Luis Castro, I said that was a guy.
Who says you want Pepa?
Yeah, Pepa. You also knows I want Luis Castro to be the interim, but
what happened to Luis Castro, man? He was a Shakhtar, and now he's. I mean, guys like that. I don't know if I rate guys like that, because if they were any good, they would be elsewhere, not in the Arabia's coaching and in China. I don't know.
You have to understand, the world of football.
They chase the money.
Alfredo, no, not just that. In the world of football, you have a select few group of empresarios that dictate, and they have a lot of power. And when you don't have one of those said representantes pushing you and backing you to go to some of these big jobs, you got to take o que aparece no prato. But I like it. Look, I thought that he would have been a great choice, and even though he has the Porto ties, he would have been a great choice to play that role of caretaker for these remaining 6 months until Benfica do go ahead and identify who their next coach will be.
Yeah, but he wouldn't come to be an interim guy.
Well, now that obviously he wouldn't, because he's on the contract. But at the time, it was my fault. I wasn't aware. I thought, because I hadn't heard about him anywhere, I thought he was a free agent. And when you're a free agent, bro, you pay a that fish.
Oh,
you
yeah.
Take it.
Yeah.
That's why I mentioned that before.
Yeah, I just saw today he's in Qatar, is in the Arabia somewhere. Hugo said Qatar, so I wasn't sure, but yeah, he's out there somewhere.
Predictions for the game against Passos.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be a 4-0 win for Benfica. Let me write that down.
The game's at the Luz, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
At the Stadium of Light.
AMF 4-0. What about you, Chris?
I'm undecided.
Okay, Dave.
So Benfica play.
I'm gonna go 3-1. We're gonna concede a goal at least.
Is it
one?
Wasn't Passos under some type of like COVID situation, or that's the other yellow team Studio? That's Studio for sure. But yeah. I thought Passos had. Didn't they have? I thought they had a run-in. I'm gonna say. You said 3-1. You said 4-0. At the Luz. What time's the game? Because the sun plays
6
a part
p.m.
There's no sun.
There's no sun.
The sun.
Not in the middle of January.
How about all those stands, man?
3-0 Benfica.
3-0 Benfica.
book it.
Okay.
Just don't even play the game. Just come
Joaquim
here Sunday.
Carapinha says 0-0 for him.
Ó,
Pô,
Joaquim,
mas que raio de
isso-
benfiquista és tu, pá?
Joaquim, isso chama-se não teres fé no pau.
Timo, 3-1.
Zero fé no pau.
What else? What other predictions do you have here from the Freddies? What
That's
else?
Mas nada,
That's
estão todos com medo. Estão todos com medo.
They all got burned after the last prediction for last week.
Yeah, they all optimism. Oh, Joaquim, o mesmo. Mas qual é o
2-0.
mesmo?
Mark Mello 2-0.
Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, they went safety.
2-0
Safety,
Eagles.
that's it. O mesmo.
Two Eagles,
Joaquim não
zero
digas
mesmo.
isso.
7-1, Nelson.
Pá, grandão. O Nelson está com o parro lá em cima.
Agora, now we're talking, my friend. Now we're talking.
Pau ali vem. E depois na semana a seguir não tem gols. But not 3-0. I think 3-0. Hugo just talks a lot of trash, but he doesn't give his prediction. Não se pode perder mais pontos. Obrigado, Einstein. I think I'm
This thing
conf-
is- yeah.
I'm between 3 and 4. Between 3 and 4. Is Darwin? Will Darwin be back? That's the
No,
another huge
he's,
question.
he's out.
He's not back.
Hey,
yet,
you
for sure.
know who's out also? Andre Almeida.
Do you have the clapping or the
Do you
applause?
have yeah, where's the applause?
drop?
Well, they should go to.
Este gajo é uma merda, pá. Tá ali. Chris, the applause, man.
Nah, I mean, look, I think this is premature, bro. I mean, they could still go to the Taz like Palhinha did, and he doesn't have to serve the suspension. You never know. That's why. Tamo lá ficar Santa Festa, vocês.
Yeah.
That's why 7-1, he says. Hat-trick two piece. Esta malta. This is why we don't let Hugo talk. So these parvalhices.
Yeah, I think 4-4-2 is here to stay.
Yeah,
Well, not 4-4-2, but at least a 4 back setup, I think, is here to stay.
Bro,
Not
I'm
going
gonna
there.
tell you right now, the biggest out of all the gotcha moments, the biggest gotcha moment, the biggest trick that's been played on Sport Lisboa Benfica is Benfica. Sportingistas ought to be laughing it up to Benfica against João Mario, bro. I mean, with each passing day, you just o pau tá assim, o pau tá
Chris,
assim.
certainly
Man
there's
needs a-
four-
man needs a
14
break.
other. Chris, certainly there's 14 other guys that are much worse than João Mario on this roster, dude.
I don't agree. He plays an important role and does just a whole bunch of nothing. He does a whole lot of nothing.
Faz mais que o Tarapto, pá.
Pois joga mais. Joga mais.
Joga mais que o Gabriel.
Gabriel nem no Benfica tá, pá.
I'm talking about last year.
Tá bem, mas é pá. Again, dude, you guys can't be content with just another guy because he's better than the last piece of garbage you had. You know, now it's, come
Why
on,
not?
dude.
People are happy with Gilberto.
No, but Gilberto improved a lot.
All right, let's wrap this up, man. Thanks
Val
everyone.
Bernardo not starting, Hugo. Stop it.
I wouldn't put it past him if he goes Weigl, Paul Bernardo, and João
His
Mario.
own stop, man. He's not playing him. His own coach didn't even play. Look, the guy played Gonçalo Ramos. Didn't even, he's his own coach from the B team. Didn't play him. Why? Because he was tired. Didn't even play him. Stop it. And he knows him better than all of us know him.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Let's get out of here. Thanks a lot for all the Freddies, man. Super duper interactive in the chat, man.
Big ups, Freddy's, and thank you guys once again. Happy New Year, all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna try to make this a positive year. Well, Benfica has a lot to do with that, but it's a conversation for another day. Thank you guys, Carlos. He's at the airport, stuck in some type of gate or whatever. Hope he makes it out all right. Get your luggage.
He was in Florida this week, I think. I saw.
About 2x subs. I just know he's at the airport. He said details on ice. So thank you guys once again, man, from the bottom of our hearts, bro. We absolutely look forward to speaking to you guys here on another wonderful 2022. Hopefully a better 2022 than a 2021. We just hope that Benfica gives us tons of reason to come on here and be joyful and entertain ourselves rather than that miserable therapy session stuff that we've been going through over the last couple of years. So
I hate positive Cristiano. He only shows up when we play like shit. Yeah, you gotta have somebody to balance the shit with the positive.
Somebody's got to do it.
Wait,
Let's
Wait,
go, Cristiano.
I'm confused. So I'm only positive when we lose.
Yeah.
Don't correct what's positive. When we win, everybody's positive. Pato lixado. Nelson, beijinhos. Ciao.
Go!